Hello, Don. Could you please give an introduction about yourself?
Hello, Rokas. My name is Donnie. I am 19 years old, living in the United States of America. I have a pressure washing business, and I am also a salesman. Where I live, it's very snowy, so during the winter, I sell cars. Through the real world, I've been here since 2023. I've learned a lot that has helped in all those realms, and I'm just pushing to be better.
So it seems you're quite hands-on. I'd imagine pretty good people skills. Was the people skills something you've always had, or is it something you've learned from the real world?
So I've always considered myself an introvert, but I'm a good actor, so I present myself extrovertedly. I have learned a lot from the real world. The SSS course has taught me a lot in terms of speaking, articulating my words in an effective manner. I think it really is something, just like Tate says, people talk their whole life, but it's really when you reflect on it and analyze the way you speak, that is how you improve it.
Hmm.
So it's definitely a learned
Very
trait.
interesting. Yep, yep. All right, and then let me go back to the beginning. So, what made you join the real world, and what was the process? What was life like before that?
Yeah, so when I joined the real world, I was a junior in high school. All my friends were going to college meetings, and I just knew that wasn't for me. I'm a firm believer that college teaches you how to be an employee, not an employer. It puts a cap on how much income you make, and I want an extraordinary life. So I knew to do that, I would have to surround myself with extraordinary people. I'm from a small town where there wasn't a lot of high value men readily accessible to me. And so I joined Tate's newsletter, free newsletter, learned a lot from that. And he kept mentioning the real world. It kept popping up on my Instagram feed, the real world. What is this? I need to know. So I joined it. It was only $50. I mean, what's $50? So I joined it. I saw a tremendous amount of value in it. So that made me join it. What life was like before the real world, it was interesting because I'd be sitting with my friends. I'd want to talk about money and bettering ourselves, and that's just something they weren't interested in. So I knew I needed a community. The real world provides that. It provides the community. So life before the real world was it was a bleak existence. If I continued on that path, I wouldn't be sitting in this position right now talking to you, living where I'm at, achieving what I have achieved.
Yeah. So you join. What campuses did you get into, and what lessons did you implement?
So when I first joined the real world, I was under 18 and I did the campus discovery quiz and it landed me on Dylan Madden's Hustlers campus. So I started off just going through everything in my house, going on Facebook Marketplace, buying and reselling things. I think my top 30-day average on my eBay account was, I think, $1,000. But for a 16-year-old, $1,000 was, I mean, that got me, that stretched. So that made me really get my first taste of money that I created myself. I didn't get paid hourly. My paycheck was directly linked to how much hard work I put in.
Hmm. And after Hustle Campus, how did things evolve?
So after the Hustlers campus, I was a senior and I started up my pressure washing business. We started going door to door, knocking doors to get our first clients. I started with two partners. One of them wasn't a fit, so we had to let him go. But since then, I've scaled that business dramatically with the help of the business campus with Professor Arno. And I just kind of started going through the courses, right? So a lot of the social media and client acquisition kind of helped. Everything is prospecting, client acquisition. I then divulged into the Tate business principles, financial wizardry within the business mastery campus. And that is something, no matter what business you are, I advise everybody does financial wizardry. And I'm pretty sure, Rokas, you've done a lot of these. A lot of people talk about speed because that's Tate's number one principle, and it's a true thing. Speed. Everything has to be fast.
Yep. So is that where you applied for your pressure washing? How? Let's begin from the start of you beginning the pressure washing, did you just go out and buy some of the uh, equipment, or
Yeah.
did you already have some waiting around? What was the idea there? And then what was it like actually going door to door? Did things go well at the start? Did they not? Like, I wanted to see the full story there.
Absolutely. I'll give you that, Rokas. So with some of the profits I was making from the reselling, me and my partner who worked at a sub shop went in on $200 electric pressure washers. So all in all, I think our startup costs were like $500. We started going door to door. When we started, we thought we would go to like trailer parks and little smaller communities because we thought that it would be easier to do the jobs being one-story homes. Very quickly, we realized that we were targeting the wrong market. We were targeting people that don't have a lot of income. So from there, we started going to the more wealthy subdevelopments. We used tools to find very wealthy zip codes, and we just started door knocking in there. It desensitized me to the word no. So
Mm.
when I hear the word no, all I see is an objection. There's something behind the scenes you have to ask questions to uncover so then you could overcome it and make your service make sense. So door to door taught me a lot of great skills that I use to this day. And from there, we kept stacking up money, doing jobs. At first, we were taking every job we can get. I mean, we were even fixing fences, doing painting, all this stuff just to have jobs because that was the hardest part. But since then, we invested in a multiple $1,000 pressure washing trailer. I got a truck. So now I have an employee who goes around and does all of our jobs. Everything's under a business entity, everything's completely legal. And it's just all up from here. Now I can focus my time instead of on doing the work, which anybody can do. Now I'm focusing my time prospecting, finding more clients, building relationships with our current clients because everybody knows people. So referrals are a huge part of our business. Repeat business is a huge part. And then all the extra jobs we get from my sales reps. I have 4 sales reps that go door to door. All those jobs are just pluses. I do the same thing. I follow up with them. I make a friend. So then if they need anything, I'm the first guy they call. Someone walks by their house like, oh my gosh, your house looks amazing. Who did you use? They feel comfortable giving my name out because they know I'm going to take care of their friends and family. So that
Yeah.
was the progression with that. I learned a lot of valuable lessons with that. I don't think the business is going to be my end game. I think it is a good start. It got me my taste of entrepreneurship. It taught me a lot of things about business administration, um, client acquisition, a lot of things that the real world also helped me with along the way because like I said, there's a community that you can use, bounce questions, ideas. I got a couple people in my DMs that are also in the same field I am, either mobile detailing, window washers, pressure washers that I communicate with. We exchange tips, and these guys, some of them aren't even from the United States, but we're still able to discuss and build our wealth of knowledge surrounding the subject.
Mhm. You mentioned you have 4 sales reps. Do you also have people doing the actual pressure washing now, or do you still do that yourself?
No, so we have a full-time employee going around doing up the pressure washing.
Yep,
So
yep.
I don't even have to do any of the work. It makes it really easy. I employed Me and my partner employed my little brother and his little brother to do some of the landscaping jobs as well. So in terms of the job fulfillment, it's pretty hands off for us. We're basically just managing them, letting them know where they got to go, making sure they get their paychecks. In the future, we're looking at the end of the year to expand that to another full time pressure washer with another pressure washing setup. That's the goal, but we just got to keep getting these jobs in.
Very
Another
cool.
thing I want to mention is commercial jobs. We've realized that businesses have a lot more disposable income than a residential customer. So we started targeting businesses. We have real estate agents that will refer customers to us. We've got property managers that will allow us to pressure wash their properties, and it's a pretty fruitful market.
And that sounds like a result of someone who just takes action without overthinking.
Yeah, Rokas, you hit the nail on the head right there. You can overthink it, but then you just get analysis paralysis and nothing gets done. It really is just an action game. And with that being said, there's a side effect of making mistakes, but you either fail or you win. And when you fail, you learn. So you're really winning. You can't fail if you put yourself in a mind frame that doesn't allow you to do so. And that just comes from taking action, making mistakes, overcoming those mistakes. Then you won't make those mistakes again. You learn.
Yep, yep. And now I'm thinking, you mentioned salesman as well. So is that just a separate thing you do on the side? As in, are these? I guess these are all things you do whenever you have free time or like on a schedule. So give the full perspective there. Like, what does the salesman job involve, and why do you do it?
Yeah. So I'm a car salesman. It is my technically my full time job. It allows me to have provable income that I can claim for loans and things of that nature. It also gives me health benefits, 401k, etc. But I love that because I talk to so many people on a day to day basis, face to face. It allows me to practice my communication skills, my sales skills, and it's another realm where I get to choose my own income. I can work harder, make more money, and then that just compounds. And with the way I was able to set up the pressure washing business, where I delegated a lot of the laborious tasks that need to be done during the day, now when I get home from my job, I can work on the business, work on my Google ads, follow up with customers, and keep growing the business while just keep getting money in.
Mhm. Very cool. Where do you think that drive comes from that you have? Because again, at 19 years old, you do more than probably the majority of people I'd come across in everyday life.
Yeah, so I think my drive, Rokas, comes from two things. First, I feel strong duty to my bloodline, to my ancestors, because I am the fourth. I want to continue my bloodline in a strong and efficient manner, making generational wealth. Another thing comes from, and it's a fear. I have a fear of being insignificant, a fear of not fulfilling my potential. I don't want to get to the gates of heaven and God show me, oh, this is who I could have been if I took the action, if I cut the excuses, if I did what I was supposed to, if I did my duties as a man. And that's really what drives me. Um, I'm a true believer that motivation is BS. It's discipline, because when the motivation isn't there, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you just going to stop working hard? So I try to set up my life, set up my schedule, set up my task list in a manner that doesn't allow me to be lazy. And through that, it gives me all the drive, because at the end of the day, when I'm laying in my bed and I'm reflecting on my day, oh, okay, I did this, I got this done, I didn't leave anything else on the table, that makes me happy.
Hmm. Nope, nope. Is any for your mindset? Is any of that um, stemming from anything you've watched from Tate, or again, has it just been mainly you and your background?
Absolutely. So I think the things Tate says put a burning fire in my heart. I think the fire was already there. His words just add fuel to that fire, because instead of me just thinking what I'm thinking, being a lone wolf, there's someone else that is a living, breathing representation of what I could become. So when he speaks, when he fires me up, I love it. I love it. It adds, it makes that fire, it turns it from a campfire to a bonfire. And
Mhm.
I think every man needs that. There's not enough positive role models out there for us men, and Tate is one of those. I mean, say whatever you want about the man. He is the pinnacle of masculine success. And through his teachings, my life have improved. I have been able to improve others' lives. I have a network in which um, we just share our mind frame. And I've gotten a lot of guys onto Tate. I've got a lot of guys in the real world, and their life's dramatically improved. My little brother, I just got him in the real world. I bought him 3 months of the real world, and his life is already starting to prove. He stopped playing video games. I've been telling him for years to stop playing video games, and he did, because I showed him a man who was able to accomplish things by cutting the bullshit out.
Yep, yep. Very well said. And very cool. You have people around you, and what you've become, you're able to be a very positive influence on them. And I'm sure from seeing you, they think, "Wow, I want to see what this is all about." If you talk so positively of it. All right, then with everything you're doing, how much income have you actually made? Because again, you're 19. You said pressure washing, salesman. I think you mentioned a third thing as well that I forgot now. What was the other thing?
Yeah,
Or am I?
so I also dabble in crypto on a long term investing standpoint through the teachings in the cryptocurrency investing campus. So that I wouldn't consider that technically income. That's more investment. That's what I use my income to put into there to build my wealth. But in to answer your question of how much money I've made, revenue, the pressure washing and landscaping company has made $150,000. And then I've made another $100,000 from just 1 year of the car sales job. So all in all, my profit is right around $150,000.
So, as a 19-year-old having made 150,000 in profit, um, what's your view on university and college? Did you end up going there? Did you decide not to? What happened?
No, so Rokas, I knew from junior year when I started up that pressure washing and landscaping company, that was me convincing myself that I'm not going to college. I want to be an employer, not an employee. And that's what college does, especially being in the real world where you have up to date information that teaches you all realms of human endeavor, such as investing, making money. You got health, fitness, you've got business principles, mindset principles. I just don't think it would be a necessity. I don't know why I would go thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in debt to be just like everybody else. Because just being in the car sales industry, I see the man who went to college, got a stable job, and worked his ass off for merely nothing. So it was hard because my grandpa, like I had mentioned, he had started the egg farm. In the early 2000s, it became they got a big contract. They become a very big company and they brought on a board of directors. He got scrutinized because he was the only one sitting at that table without college education. Even though he knew the most about farming, he had built the business, he got scrutinized for it. So, because of that, he always pushed college on his 10 grandchildren. So when I went to him and I said, "Hey, Papa, I'm not going to college," he didn't see my vision. He just thought, "Oh, Donnie, he just doesn't want to work hard. He just wants to." He thought I was going to skate through life.
Mm.
So when I actually built that business, I grew that business. I told him the things we had accomplished. I was able to change his mind, not through the words I was saying, but through the actions that I was exemplifying.
Mm. Amazing. And what do your parents say now about everything you do?
Well, they support me. My mom is one of my biggest supporters. She's always supported everything I do. Even when I make bad decisions, she lets me make them because she knows I'm going to learn from them. So my mom has been a big supporter in my life. And then my dad, he's a very hard worker. I get a lot of my hardworking trait from him because I mean he's a great example of a strong masculine man who puts his head down, nose on the grindstone, goes to work, deals with hardship, but he rolls with the punches. That's something he always told me. He said, "Life's going to throw punches at you. You gotta take them. You gotta take them because the second you back down, you're not getting up." So my dad pushes the hardworkingness. He doesn't completely understand the whole business mentality of it, but even with that being said, we still have great conversation. He kind of gives me scenarios. He plays devil's advocate a lot where like, "Oh, what if this happens? What if this happens?" And he really allows me to dig deep in my mind and create contingency plans on bad things before they even happen because I mean, he sees it every day at work.
Very cool. That's not something people have access to usually. Someone like that. So amazing.
Absolutely. It's something Tate says where the best the best upbringing is two loving parents without a lot of money, and I feel like I had that, which is the best start in my opinion.
Mhm. And you're a clear representation and result of the outcome that that has created. So yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. And then what does your average day look like if you were to break it down? And how much of a difference is there compared to before you joined the real world? How did it look?
Yeah. So before I joined the real world, I was waking up, going to school, getting home. I played a lot of sports, so going to sport practice, getting home, either playing video games or hanging out with friends. Really nothing that pushes that envelope. Once I got in the real world, I got exposed to what a man could achieve, what a man could become. I started really enacting a very rigorous schedule upon myself. So I will wake up typically around 7:30. I'm a big believer in the body and health. So I'll wake up, do yoga, do breath work, take either a cold plunge or a cold shower, and then at that point I'll either go to my sales job or start working on the business on my days off. I am an avid reader. I love learning experiences from very powerful, very successful people in a book form. You know, you get a whole person's life in a 300-page read. From there, I hop on the real world. I learn some things, get in the chats, build that power level. We all know that's important. So, you got to build that power level. And then from there, I go to the gym. So, 5 days a week, I'm working out, getting my body right. And then also I do kickboxing. So I train kickboxing, just trying to be as well rounded as possible. I mean, there's definitely is a thing where you need to focus on like one thing, but I think that is like a single tasking thing where you focus at one thing at a time. But you still need to be well rounded as a man. There's many different facets that you have to perform excellently at. And then also this right here, my journal. That is huge. I'm a big, big, big advocate of journaling. I mean, I journal about everything in here. I have a goals tab, reflection, crypto, my business, my car sales, my network, health, wisdom, books, quotes, gratitude. I even do the alter ego thing that Dylan Madden teaches in his campus as well.
Mhm.
So that really helps me put my thoughts on paper, make sure I don't forget anything. I'm a big, big keeper of a task list because the human mind is meant for creating ideas, not storing them. So everything gets put in the task list. I have a bunch of daily disciplines that are on that task list I have to do every day. So that's what my daily life consists of. Um, yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Amazing. And once again, I said this about the parents, but you're a clear representation of someone who, um, let me rephrase this. Many people know that those things, if they do them, it will benefit their lives. They know it, but they don't do it. And you're a clear representation of someone who does it and what someone looks like who does it. And you can see from your mindset, you're very focused, you're going after whatever it is you want, doing multiple things, and yeah, everything at 19 years old. So I'm sure people are definitely going to be inspired by this. Uh, and yeah, I have a few final questions. So I'll go with the trajectory you're on. What plans do you have for future? So short term, medium term, and long term.
Yeah. So in the short term, I want to make $200,000 this year in profit, like between the business paying me, the car sales paying me, and all of that. Uh, Non fiscally, I want to be 185 pounds and absolutely shredded. I want to start competitively fighting. I want to build my network up to a point where, I mean, I have lawyers, doctors, accountants, financial advisors. I just want a network around me that is going to propel my success forward. In the medium term, I think the network still plays into that. Physically, I want to be even on a tighter regimen. I'm waking up at 7 right now. I want to be waking up at 6. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not always 100% on my regiment, but I like probably I'm 90%. I want to be 100% all the time. I never want to look back at a week and have any red X's in my goal list. On a long term scale, I'm looking at this isn't even long term, but I want to get a 4 unit property by the end of the year. So that's something in my future because one of my network members is a real estate investor and real estate agent. So I see a lot of value in that. Building my wealth on a long term frame, I don't think I still want to be where I'm at in Buffalo, New York. I want to explore the world. I want to set up multiple locations. I want to build a network in multiple different cities. I want a very, very strong lineage. I want to have a lot of children. I want to name them all the men after myself. And people think I'm crazy. I might be crazy, but I'm okay with it. So I want to build a strong family. And besides money, I want power. You know, I think there's a great quote from this one show. One of my friends told me it, but it is money is like the McMansion in Hollywood, and power is like the stone castle in Romania. So I want power. I think there's a lot of value in that. Money only goes so far. I want to be able to build things with the money. So money is a prerequisite to success. But after that, I want the world, man. I want the whole world.
Yep, yep. Very cool. And I like how you phrased that. So you mentioned network. For people who would want to find out more about about what you do, or maybe about the network as well that you mentioned, where could they either contact you or see more about it?
Yeah, so my group, we call ourselves the Cash Collective. It's a bunch of men just like me in my area, all pushing towards success. We just started up an Instagram, pushing out content on there daily. So I will provide everybody with my Instagram. It is only Cash Collective on Instagram. And then also a lot of my business things between the pressure washing business and the car sales. I put out a lot of content on Facebook. So I will provide you with those.
Okay, so I'll add those to description of video. And then my final question is, since the real world benefited you so much and you're recommending it to other people as well, who you know, what do you say to people who are unsure about joining because they're thinking they might get scammed for $50?
Well, the first thing I would say is you mentioned getting scammed for $50. I think people are scammed for $50 on a daily basis. 2 lunches cost $50. A tank of gas costs $50. Video games cost more than $50. And what value does a video game give you? None. I think and the fact that the real world, you don't even have to get locked in, you're not locked in for a year. Why wouldn't you spend $50 to educate yourself, to make yourself a better person, to build skills that are going to give you the future you want? Because let's be real, every man wants to talk about driving a Lamborghini. Not many men want to go out, put in the work to get that Lamborghini. And that starts because they don't have the people around them, they don't have the community. If you hang out with 5 ice cream makers, you're going to learn how to make ice cream very well. So if you are constantly around people making a lot of money, you're going to end up making a lot of money because just the skills and the mindset you will absorb. And that's what the real world offers. It offers knowledge, it offers community. And it is a place that you can build. It's a place that you can find people such as yourself that provide value. And I think people just have a misconstrued idea of what they want to achieve and what money even is. Because at the end of the day, I put no budget on my self improvement. Courses, seminars, health, there's no budget in my mind because of the fact that it's only going to make me better and it's going to pay off. The ROI is there, the return on investment is there.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, so I'll end off as well with a summary of what you said, just to really sink it home for the user. What did I just say? For the user, for the listener. You're 19 years old. I probably said that like 5 times now. You've made 150,000 in profit, which, as adults, most people dream of, can only dream of. You have what you do. You have a great morning routine, as you said. You look after your body. You look after your mind. You're seeing the results that come of it. You're also investing everything you get. Well, not everything, but you're investing profits. So you have everything set up again as people would. If someone was to build a human that they would want to be, it would look like an image of what you're doing. If that would
Thank
make
you.
sense. Just that
Absolutely.
whether it's from the wrong self-talk, laziness, whatever else, no one actually ends up sticking to it. But so many people want to be doing what you do, and you just do it. And you're a very good example of what happens to someone who just takes action. So as long as you continue down this path, I'm sure we'll have a follow-up in future with a very interesting progress update. So I look forward to that. And I wish you
Absolutely.
all the best until then as well. Because
I
I'm
look
sure,
forward to it
yeah,
too.
you're gonna be doing very well for yourself. That's an understatement. I don't know how else to say it. But yeah, I look
No, I
forward
think you
to
said it
hearing
perfect.
about all that you've done from now until then.
Well, thank you for having me, Rokas. It's been a pleasure.